Hi guys, I think I'm live now. If you can see me and if you can hear me, please do message in the chat. Uh, we'll start today's session. This is a very useful session, in my opinion, because you'll get to know how to prepare for CAT and how to make the best use of the remaining 5 months. So if everything is good, please do message in the chat and I'll start the session. Good evening, Devansh. Good evening to everyone. Good evening, Angel. How are you? Okay, is it possible to crack CAT with 99% if I start now? Okay, I'll start the session exactly. I'm just waiting for some more people to join and then I'll start the session. Okay, so basically if you think about it, I would want to differentiate the strategy for two different sects of people. One is people who are freshers or people who have not taken CAT before. That is one group. The other group is people who have already taken CAT before. Probably they have scored around say 85%, 85 to 90 or maybe something around that range, 80 to 90. And they want to practice more and try to get a much higher percentile. These are the two buckets of people that I would want to address today. First, if I'm looking at the second bucket, these are the people who already have taken CAT before. They know the portion, they know the syllabus, they know what kind of questions are asked. They also know the common mistakes that people make. For example, one of the mistakes that people make is not taking mocks till the end. Another mistake that people make is just spending a lot of time on the section that they like. Many engineers, for example, like quant, so they spend a lot of time on quant. They kind of ignore verbal and LRDA. So these people who are experienced people who have taken CAT before know that these kind of things should be avoided. And those people, in my opinion, should start working on their section in which they are weakest at right now. Put a lot of effort because, in my opinion, the score improvement that you are going to get, the lowest hanging fruit that is there, is much more in your weakest section as compared to your strongest section. So, for example, if there is an engineer who is scoring say 95 percentile in quant and only around say 50% in verbal, now that person can easily improve his percentile in verbal from 50 to 80 with some effort. It doesn't need a lot of effort because he is not very good at it. So the improvement, the marginal improvement that he's going to get is quite high as compared to increasing from say 97 to 95 to say 97 or 95 to 99. Angel is saying already taken CAT sir, but percentile is below 50. That's fine. Don't worry about what your past percentile is. Just focus on what is there in your hands. And in my opinion, figure out what are the three percentiles in your section, in each of the sections, how are your strengths. And if at least there is one section in which you feel you are not very good at, you are doing much worse in one section as compared to the remaining two, focus a lot on that section. This is definitely the advice that I would give to experienced people because they already have some sense of where they stand in each of the three sections. They already have some sense about what is the portion for CAT. Other than that, I would recommend them to start answering as many questions as possible because they already have covered the syllabus to an extent. They don't need to become very, very good at any of the topics, but you have already covered the syllabus once. Then I would recommend you to start answering the questions as many as possible and start taking mocks. Take one mock every 2 weeks. This is my advice for the experienced people. For the freshers or for people who have not taken CAT before, if this is the first time you're taking CAT, what I would recommend you to do is focus on finishing at least 70 to 80% of the portion by August 10. Try to ensure that by at least August end, that is June, July and August, in these 3 months, you cover at least 80% of the topics. 80% of the topics in quant, for example, there are three very important topics. If anybody is interested, please message what you think are the three most important topics in quant. I'll wait for a couple of minutes before I actually answer that. Mani has joined, Yashwant, Simranjit, Ravi Sinha, Saurabh, Vikas. Vikas Gangwar has joined. Vikas used to join us on YouTube. Now he's joined us on Insta also, which is good. And guys, please do like our Instagram page. We are posting good content, very useful content. I'll post the link to the Instagram page also in this chat. Please do like it there also. Okay, now coming to the advice that I would want to give to freshers. Focus on the three important topics in quant, that is algebra, arithmetic and geometry. Try to ensure that you cover at least most of the topics that are there in these three. In arithmetic, I think you can complete the entire portion. without too much effort, you need not miss out on any of the topics, because arithmetic is very straightforward. Anybody who has done decently well in 10th would be able to answer most of the arithmetic questions. There are time, speed and distance, ratio and proportion, averages and percentages. These are the kind of topics that are asked in arithmetic. Similarly, algebra is slightly more trickier than arithmetic. It involves questions like say linear equations, quadratic equations. Quadratic equations I think is very easy. There are only a few formulas that you need to know. And after that comes geometry. All these three are important. The crux is that geometry you might not be able to cover the entire portion of geometry and feel very confident about it, because geometry is vast. There are a lot of formulas, and even if you know the formulas, trying to know how to apply them might be difficult. So nobody is very confident of geometry, but at least arithmetic, to a reasonable extent algebra, and to some extent geometry, because geometry can also be divided into two parts. One is 2D geometry and the other is solids. At least in the solids part, which involves concepts like say volume, surface area, these kind of things, you should be able to do well. So for quant, try to finish at least these three important topics to a good extent with some confidence by the end of August. With VARC, focus a lot on reading comprehension. Let me see if there are any in verbal. I think one of the important things is reading comprehension. It is a very important topic, and I also believe that it is kind of the fountainhead for you to do well in the entire section of verbal, because anybody who is good at verbal, good at reading comprehension, knows how to answer other topics, like say knows how to answer other topics. Just give me 1 minute. శ్రీకాంత్ ఇక్కడి నుంచి కాదు, బయట అక్కడి నుంచి ఏదో ఆడియో వస్తుంది, లేకపోతే ఇక్కడ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది. ఓకే చూడకు, లేకపోతే ఇంకో చోట ఎక్కడో చోట దూరంగా కూర్చొని చూడు, ఇది పర్లేదు. ఓకే గైస్, సారీ ఫర్ ద ఇంటరప్షన్, దేర్ వాజ్ సమ్ టెక్నికల్ ఇష్యూ. Okay, so coming back to verbal, one of the important things that you should focus on is reading comprehension. And the reason reading comprehension is very important is because somebody who knows how to answer reading comprehension well also answers other topics like say para jumbles or para completions well. The reason for that is very simple. Somebody who is good at reading comprehension would have read a lot of passages, not just in CAT but even earlier. They would be reading many of these online articles, so they know how a passage is constructed. They know how an idea is actually brought about, how it is introduced, how it is expanded, and how a passage is concluded. So immediately after looking at it, they kind of sense the order of the passages. This they just get because they practice a lot, they read a lot online. So somebody who is working on improving the reading comprehension, automatically their sense of a passage improves, which will definitely help them in para jumbles as well as para summaries. So focus mostly on reading comprehension. In my opinion, I would recommend you to watch a few videos on the verbal section, but your entire focus mostly should be on reading comprehension. That is the foundation for you to do well in verbal section. It obviously has the most percentage, but like I mentioned earlier, somebody who is trying to improve in reading comprehension will automatically improve even in the other aspects. And how do you improve in reading comprehension? One thing that you can do is obviously take more sectionals, try to answer as many reading comprehension passages as you can on a day-to-day basis. But even otherwise, I would recommend you to at least go and read 3-4 articles from the usual suspects. The usual suspects or the important websites I already mentioned in some of my streams earlier. They are the Guardian, New York Times, New Yorker. So use these websites and read at least 3 or 4 articles from them on a day-to-day basis, and try to focus such that the articles that you're reading are mostly current affairs based. They should not be very political, they should not be very biased, or because the passage in CAT, if you think about it, is not very one-sided. The passage in CAT will show you both sides. It will give you that, okay, this is one aspect, this is the other aspect, and probably they will give you some conclusion. For example, if you're looking at say an article on economic inequality, it will tell you that, okay, capitalism has either exacerbated the problem, but capitalism has some good sides. It generates a lot of value. It eliminates a lot of poverty. But it also increases economic inequality. So you can see that a passage would discuss both sides of it. So try to see if those kind of passages are available. And if you think that this is a passage which is something similar to that, any opinion article, any editorial, definitely go through them. From Guardian, New Yorker, New York Times, Indian Express, any of these big websites, and make it a habit. Don't try to do it as a chore. Don't try to see that, okay, now I have to read 2 articles. Don't make it sound that way. When you're having lunch, when you're traveling by train, if you're going by public transport, when you're going in a cab, just see if you can read 2-3 articles on a day-to-day basis. That consistency is very important. Red Devil Reacts is saying, nice to see that I'm speaking Telugu. Yeah, my mother tongue is Telugu. So there was some issue with our setup. So I was trying to discuss it. Krishna Kumar is saying, sir, you seem to be solving QA questions in regular method live. Is it not required for shortcuts? How do you score full marks in QA? CAT 2022, please reveal secrets. The reason for that is very straightforward. I answer a lot of questions. I solve a lot of questions every single day in quant. So if you do anything very regularly, you become very good at it. To record the daily targets, Cracku has daily targets. So every day we give 1 test in quant, 1 test in LRDA, and 1 test in verbal section, along with detailed video solutions. This is the Cracku daily target. Now for the daily target, I have to solve the 5 questions, I have to record their videos. I have to solve an LRDA, I have to record its video. Now when I'm working so much on a day-to-day basis, I become very good at it. So in quant, because I've been doing this, I prepare the mocks, I take many of the mocks, and I take a lot of daily targets. So when I look at a question in quant, immediately I know how to answer it. What is the first step in answering it? In 90% of the cases, I know, because I practice quite a lot. Now, if you also practice a lot, think about it from the standpoint of the examination. If you are regular in daily targets, if you take daily targets very regularly, if you have solved like say 250 LRDI sets, if you have solved say 250 topic tests, because daily targets are essentially topic tests, on the day of the examination, and if you have taken a lot of mocks, on the day of the examination, you will feel very confident. You would have solved like say 2000, 3000 questions. And on the day of the examination, if a question comes, you would not be very worried or you would not be very circumspect. Out of those 22 questions, if you do this, on that day, you would at least be fairly comfortable with say 15 to 16 questions. Now, if you put in more effort, probably you will also be, it is not very difficult to score full in quant, because it is just a matter of how many questions you actually solve. Naveen Kumar is saying, I have 40 months of work experience by now. Is it a disadvantage for me for PGP CAT, given very few people from this segment are taken at Blackies? 40 months is quite okay, man. Don't get very paranoid or don't get very self-conscious. 40 months is just less than 3.5 years. Assume that on the when you are entering the MBA this program, you will have maybe 4 years of work ex. Many people have 4 years of work ex. A lot of people have that. So don't feel demotivated or don't feel self-conscious. Just focus on improving your CAT score. Try to improve it as much as you can. Butta Rohan Reddy is saying, sir, how to tackle geometry? It is very tough. I find it very tough. Geometry, I would divide it into 2 parts. One is 2D geometry, which involves circles, triangles, squares, all of them. The other is 3D geometry. 3D geometry will involve solids. Something like, say, you are given a cube, you are given a sphere, you are given a cylinder, and you are asked to calculate the total surface area or the lateral surface area or the volume. Sometimes you are told that there is a cylinder which is melted and some spheres are formed. These kind of things, you have to compare the volume of both of them. These are solids. Now, solids are very formula based. If you know the formulas in solids, you will be able to get most of those questions correct. So, at least focus on getting the solids correct. Because you have to just remember a bunch of formulae, maybe 10 to 15 formulae, and then you will get nearly all the questions correct in solids. Other than that, in 2D geometry, also start with the simpler formulas. Try to see if you know all the formulas which relate to equilateral triangles. Try to see if you know all the formulas which relate to squares and rectangles. Try to see if you know all the formulas which are related to circles and tangents. Circles is a very big topic, so there will be a lot of formulas, but again start by cutting them into different segments. Try to see if you are able to master some topics. Then you can keep on adding. Sir, please tell something about how to study functions inequality. बहुत hard. Okay, wait a minute. बहुत hard रहा है. बहुत hard जा रहा है, sir, please. So if you're looking for functions and inequalities, functions is a tricky subject. I would not mince my words in saying that, because the kind of questions that can be asked in functions is very wide. But inequalities, on the other hand, I don't think is very difficult. Inequalities, you just need to know the basics well. If you are given an inequality, how do you actually transform the inequality into a quadratic equation? If you are given a quadratic inequality, if you are given an inequality, when does it change its sign? Sometimes if you are multiplying the inequality with a negative number, the sign of the inequality will change. So try to focus on covering the basics of inequality. Try to see if you know all the simple rules of inequality. When does it change its sign? If you take a reciprocal, what will happen to the sign? These are the things that you should be comfortable with. Once you know it, focus on solving questions in inequality, because inequality is not a difficult subject. I know that functions is tough, I won't deny it, but inequalities, you can't place it in the same level as functions. Functions and inequalities are different. Inequalities, with some effort, you can focus on getting 100% accuracy. Functions, on the other hand, you might not. Similarly, I would recommend, many people are very paranoid about logarithms. Logarithms is a very, very simple topic. Don't worry about it, especially non-engineers, because they are not used to logarithms. They feel that logarithms is very difficult. Logarithms is very formula based. If you know the formulas that should be applied for logarithms, and there are hardly 5 to 6 formulas in logarithms, then you will get logarithms correct. It is a very simple topic. Just have some practice and put some effort. Then after a week or so, you will realize that logarithms questions can be easily answered. Sir, Urvin Joshi is saying, good evening, sir. I assist my father in his business, but I don't take salary. Can I show it as my work experience? I have heard that we have to provide pay slip to prove work experience. Work experience, you need some proofs. I don't know about pay slips and all. I think pay slips are also needed. But exactly the proofs, I'm not so sure. You need some work ex letter also. I think you need some pay slips also. All of these things are needed. So an informal job like this, I'm not so sure will really qualify as a job. This is my opinion. I think you will face some issues later on. So be mindful of it and try to prepare for it. Try to take an official salary from your father. Those kind of things can be done. Sir, can you please tell us how to plan and prepare for DLR? Also, I have 5 years work ex. Is this disadvantageous? 5 years work ex is definitely slightly on the higher side. But again, as I was saying, it is not unheard of. There will be, for example, in a batch, out of 100 people, there will be at least, like, say, 10 people who will have work ex of 5 years. Yeah, I think around 7 to 10 people will have a work ex of 5 years. 4 years work ex and more, at least there will be 20 people out of 100 who will have 4 years work ex. 3-year work ex, there will be at least 50% of the people who will have 3 or more years of work ex. So 5 years, you wouldn't be completely, you won't be completely odd one out. That is not the case. And right now, focus, don't get distracted, don't let your mind wander. Try to focus on doing well in CAT. That is in your hands. So spend these 5 months not worrying about how much work ex you have or what your grades are. All these things are just distractions. Use these 5 months to focus mostly on improving your score in CAT. And if you're looking to improve in DLR, one of the things that I would tell you is start off by solving the previous paper LRDI sets of CAT 2020, CAT 2021 and CAT 2022. We have all the PDFs of those previous papers on our website. The link to download them will be given in the description of this video. So download it and every day try to solve at least 1 or 2 LRDI sets on your own. The way to gain confidence in LRDI is by solving the previous year's LRDI sets. Now, the way to approach it is download the PDFs. Every day start by trying to solve one set. Take as much time as you want. Take at least 30 to 40 minutes if need be in trying to answer it. And even if you're not able to answer it at that time, then look at the video solution. In fact, in our PDF, we have a button where if you click on the button, you will be automatically redirected to the video solution, which is completely free. Now, what you should look at is, after 30 minutes of effort, did you make any progress in the LRDI is what is important. When you're looking at the video solution, do you feel that, okay, I was kind of close to solving it, but I was not able to solve it. Or I was able to represent the data well, but I did not make more progress. So you should try to see the positives out of your effort. That is the way you motivate yourself. That is the way you decrease your paranoia or your fear. Now, LRDI, if you are able to represent the data, 50% of the job is done. If you know how to represent an arrangement set, 50% of the job is done. If you know how to draw a Venn diagrams, 4 parameter Venn diagrams, answering it is not very difficult. So representing the data in LRDI is very, very important. What you should see is, after spending 30 minutes or 40 minutes, did I make progress? Did I represent the data well? This is what you should look at. Good evening, sir. I have accumulated various backlogs. Should I clear my backlogs first, then practice, or practice along with clearing backlogs? I would recommend you to focus on your backlogs, man. Backlogs are definitely a big hindrance. Also, I don't know how much you can prepare with backlogs, because that will always be there at the back of your mind. Even if you're preparing, I feel your preparation will be slightly distracted. So don't try to get distracted. Try to finish your backlogs first. If I were you, I would do that. I would finish my backlogs first, and then I would give my everything in my CAT preparation. Because if I'm trying to do both, it is quite likely that I'll end up doing nothing. Also guys, please do like our Instagram page. I already mentioned this once. We are going to post the link for the Instagram page. It is given in the description of this video also. Please do click on it. Please do like it. We are posting very good content. And if you like our Instagram page, please do share it with your friends also. Hello sir, hope you are doing well. Thanks for all these free resources, especially in English. It is very hard to find free resources in the form of videos in English. Thank you. You are welcome, Ashura. Maybe I think you are talking about the daily targets that we are providing. Every day, thousands of people take our daily targets, and every day we have one test for LRDA, Quant and Verbal. So try to make the best use of it. Okay, somebody asked a question. Let me see. Devansh is saying, sir, should we use calculator in CAT? You should definitely use calculator in CAT because it is going to make your calculations faster and more accurate. Many times what happens is when you are solving or calculating using your mind, you're not 100% sure whether you got it correct or not. Sometimes you worry that you made some silly mistake. So you have to double check 2-3 times. That wastes time. So don't use the calculator always, but try to be judicious in actually using it. Sometimes you should use it because then it will it will improve your accuracy and also save your brain some power. Because otherwise you'll have to keep thinking, okay, did I solve it correct? Did I solve this correct? Sometimes you don't get the answer correct. You'll have to again backtrack and figure out where you made that mistake. Sir, I'm pursuing BBA from distance. Will it affect my selection in top B schools? No, that probably won't matter. Don't worry about it. Can 15 mocks be enough to get 90% in CAT provided by Cracku? Taking mocks is very, very important. I would recommend you to take all the 15 mocks plus the 5 head start mocks plus the 45 sections that we are providing. If you make the best use of all of them and take our daily targets on a day-to-day basis, I think you are definitely well prepared to take the examination. Bidit Sarkar is saying 72, 68, 59.3, 4 years of gap by 2024, active in an NGO. What should be the minimum percentile to get into top colleges or IFT, Blackie, Baby IIMs? Bidit Sarkar, we have a very nice tool which takes your profile into as a parameter, as an input, and it will output the percentiles that are needed to get admission into these top colleges. So definitely make use of that percentile predictor. It is called CAT percentile required to get into IIMs. We'll post the link to it in the description of this video. Definitely do check it out. Arundhati Devi is saying, sir, I'm new to preparation. Just started 1 month back. Still confused over how to study DLR. How can we cover DLR portions? Can we do daily targets if we don't know the concept of the problem? That I think is the second step. The first step is downloading the previous papers and solving the LRDA sets. The second step is solving the daily targets for LRDA on a day-to-day basis. Every single day, give your best and try to solve the daily target. It will definitely help you. It is one of the best habits that you can inculcate in your CAT preparation. Daily targets really help a lot of people. Thousands of people take the daily targets. So definitely take it. Nimi is saying some IIMs take exact 24 to 30 months to give score out of 10. Example, if anyone has 25 months of work-ex, he'll get 8 marks. More work-ex than 30 months inculcate in 2 marks as in by various IIMs. I'm not sure what you're saying, Nimi. But again, don't worry about all of these things, no, because I believe that all of these things are distractions, and many of our brains, they want distraction, because working hard after you spend like say a couple of hours studying, your brain is tired. It wants some sort of a distraction. So it will give you these kind of ideas that, okay, if I work for another year, what will happen? My score in my 10th is less, my score in my 12th is less. The reason you are thinking about these things, like all of us do, is because it is easy to get distracted, and our brains are also, because of the videos that are available or because of the entertainment that is there, we are not used to concentrating for long stretches of time. Because of that also, we have these kind of thoughts prevailing in our heads, but we have to put an active effort. We have to tell ourselves that, okay, this is not productive. What is productive is ensuring that I put in the effort. Putting in effort is more important. So try to do that. How much work-ex you have, what your scores in 10th and 12th are, all of those things are not really in your hands right now. one very big thing which is in your hands is how much you can score in CAT. That is completely in your hands, and that has a lot of weightage in all of these institutes. So try to put in and try to score as much as you can in CAT. Guys, please do like the stream. We have more than 65 people who are watching this stream live, but we have very few likes. So try to at least like the stream and let us get to at least 60 likes before the stream is over. I'll answer a couple of questions before the stream ends. Please do ask me. Red Devil Reacts is saying, sir, is it okay if I'm giving mocks on an iPad rather than a laptop? I would think it's a very bad idea. Extremely bad idea, because you have to make the best use of taking a mock. You're spending 2 hours on the mock. You have to take it in front of a laptop. You should try to recreate the atmosphere of actually giving the examination. So definitely take a mock on a laptop and try to switch off everything else. Try to be in a calm room where you are alone. You don't have any distractions. Switch off your phone or put it in silent and try to give your best. Only then will you be able to identify what your shortcomings are. Because if you're giving it on an iPad and you don't score well, you can always tell yourself that, yeah, okay, it is because of an iPad I didn't do well. That is not helpful, no? If you give your best in a laptop and you don't score well, then you can really assess. You can figure out, okay, I didn't do well in this particular topic. I didn't do well in this particular section. And then you can work on it and improve. At least the diagnosis that you're going to get will be accurate. Sir, can Jem get IMB call on 98 percentile if he's having a work ex of 24 months? For IMB, I think 24 months is slightly lesser. Maybe if you have 36 months, that will be good. But it also depends on your profile. If your profile is very good, if you have 10, 10, 9 kind of a profile, then I think there is no reason why you would not get a IMB call. Putta Rohan Reddy is saying, sir, when should we start mocks? How many mocks per week? I would recommend you to start taking mocks right now. Take 1 mock every 2 weeks as of now, and increase it to 1 mock every week from August. Maybe from October, you can increase it to 2 mocks every week. Hello, sir. I'm facing so much problem in hard level questions. Is it okay to do medium and easy level questions? Is it enough for CAT? If you do well in easy and medium questions, that is more than enough. Don't worry. To at least get 95 percentile, that is more than enough. And some hard questions will be sufficient for you to actually get 99 percentile also. So focus on the low hanging fruits. Many people focus only on the very hard questions. It happens quite a lot in quant, where people find a hard question, they want to solve it because they feel that they're good at that topic, and then they waste a lot of time. Don't do that. Try to pick the easy questions and answer them, then try to pick the medium questions and answer them. If you do these 2 things well, it is a very smart strategy, because you will not miss out on any of the easy questions. You will not waste your time trying to solve very hard questions. Okay guys, I'll answer one more question before ending the stream. Sir, should we do previous questions or do variety of questions to be ready for mocks? Previous year question. Previous year's questions are a very good source for you to get started on your preparation journey. But don't just do previous year's questions, but try to do as many of them as possible. But you have to do other questions also. Incognito is saying, sir, when will you launch CMAT 2024 course? CMAT 2024 course will launch maybe sometime in December this year. Okay guys, please do like the stream and please do like our Instagram page. That's it for today. Thanks a lot guys.